Wholeness. What up, what up? It's Fraser, Human Activator, Leptokinetic Healer. And today I just kind of want to share my journey with Lyme disease. Now, a lot of people don't even know that I've been diagnosed with Lyme disease. I was diagnosed when I was around 6 years old or so. And for those that don't know what Lyme disease is, it is a tick-borne illness, or a bacteria that's transmitted from deer ticks. And essentially what it does is it attacks your central nervous system, your joints, makes your joints fill up with fluids and dislocate themselves. It completely immobilizes you, it destroys your central nervous system. It does a whole lot of really intense things that make it hard to function as a human being. And so, what happened to me was we didn't know that I had it actually. But what was happening was I was experiencing symptoms where I would be unable to get out of bed. My body would just completely lock up. When I'd sit in chairs, my joints started to fill up with fluids and dislocate themselves. And it wasn't until my knees swelled up really, really, really big that I finally went into the hospital, and they were actually able to diagnose me fairly quickly with Lyme disease. And, they gave me a prescription of strong antibiotics I had to take for 6 to 8 weeks. And then technically you're cured or treated or whatever, but the bacteria is still present in your body. It's just dormant. So one thing I want to say real quick is that lots of people think that just because you're a healer, or they think that you receive healing or whatever, when you have a chronic disease, you kind of live with it. You know what I mean? Yes, I have seen miracles occur. Yes, I have seen the body completely reverse itself. However, most of the time, historically speaking, you learn to adjust your life to it. You're kind of forced to lead a healthy lifestyle. And that's kind of what I see a lot of these things as, is they're just pressure cookers that kind of push you into certain areas of healthy living. It forces you to take care of yourself, or you'll die, or you just won't have that good of a quality of life. So with that being said, I still deal with some side effects, mainly because of the antibiotics. And so, I'm sure most of you are familiar, if you take antibiotics, it kills both the bad and the good bacteria. And most Western diets are saturated with refined sugars and artificial everything. So it disrupts your flora, your gut bacteria. And this can lead to dysbiosis, autoimmunity, and a whole plethora of issues. Issues that I didn't even realize I had up until a couple years ago, and I was arrogant and believing that, I was working on so many people at the time. I thought, oh, well, if this much energy is coming through my vessel, my channel, my conduit, I have to be healing. I have to be regulating my system. It couldn't have been more far from the truth. In fact, I was getting more sick because I was taking on people's sicknesses. I was sitting for hours a day. I wasn't stretching. I was leading an unhealthy lifestyle. I was smoking cigarettes. I was drinking alcohol. I wasn't eating as clean as I should have been. I hadn't done any types of detoxification or cleanses or anything like that. Now, through that experience, what I learned is that you can't just tackle your health from one aspect. You have to encompass health and wholeness. You have to treat yourself on a mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual level. It just can't be energetic. You have to change your diet. You have to change the way that you're leading your life, the way that you're living. You can't be going out every night partying. You have to address your emotions that you've suppressed, and the emotions that you deal with on a regular basis. You have to address your thoughts. You have to address all of these things. You need to stretch. You need to drink plenty of water. All of these things encompassed under one umbrella is what leads to wellness. Not just picking one. If you pick one, you're going to find imbalance in another area. So what ended up happening to me was, I started eating. Oh, actually, what really happened was I quit smoking cigarettes after smoking since I was about 8 or 9 years old. 27 now. I quit when I was about 25. So when that started happening, it just increased my ability to smell. It was like suddenly like this whole new world was open to me, where I could no longer tolerate these foods that I was eating, these sugary foods, all of this stuff that was artificial. I could smell it, I could taste it. It just was not appealing to me anymore. From there, I started to eat much more clean, and I was still having loose stool. So I was just like, man, I'm taking in way too much fiber to be having stool this loose. So I just automatically had this intuitive knowing I had parasites. I just knew it. I just knew that I had parasites. And so a couple months go by, I start getting into yoga really intensely, and I finally ordered my first supplement of Paragard, which I documented on this channel as well. Very intense first experience. And, you know, I started passing all these worms. I started doing coffee enemas and passing foot-long worms. And each colony I began to eradicate, I would regain a sense of control or emotional mental stability over myself. I began to recognize as well a parasitic mind that would kind of like induce these impulsive thoughts of mine, you know, eat a cookie, or, you know, just things I was not interested in, you know, trying to get me to eat stuff, trying to get me to do things that were just excessive. And like I said, the more that I began to kill them, the more that I began to regain control over my sovereignty. So with that, I started noticing really, really good results. I started doing all types of detoxifications and, you know, just taking my life, my health into my own hands on a physical level, not just energetic, emotional, mental, but a physical level, which was something I really lacked in my life. So now where I'm at is, you know, I'm taking a supplement called red root, and I just started taking it because the only thing I suffer from is, I believe it's called lymphedema, something like that, where basically your lymph nodes are constantly inflamed because with Lyme disease, the bacteria will go, they've figured out this way to hide in the immune system and trigger an immune response without killing themselves, without them attacking themselves. The immune response at summon ends up attacking something else, or it's not enough to actually kill the bacteria. So that's kind of one of the main things I deal with now. You know, I have also the skin thing that will happen sometimes when I get really hot and the bacteria starts dying. I'll start, you know, having that Hertz reaction, and I kind of get like these little rashes and stuff like that. You know, and other than that, I had really bad joint pain until I started doing yoga. But yeah, you know, it's kind of, you know, come down to doing monthly parasite cleanses, because what happens with Lyme disease is that there's lots of co-infections that accompany Lyme. You know, fungal infections, other parasitic infections. There's a lot of symbiotic relationships on a parasitic level that occur with Lyme disease. So, you know, to me, it's something that will, you know, never stop. It's going to be a constant way of living. And I think that that's a good thing in a way, because we need to do that anyway. We need to be constantly cleansing or detoxifying ritualistically. You know, we need to be doing these things in a ritualistic manner where it's consistent and it's disciplined and it's repetitive, and, you know, reminding the body that, hey, we're taking care of you. You know, we're doing what we need to do in order to maintain your homeostasis, and that requires work. That requires you assisting your body do that. But yeah, as for a lot of other symptoms, I don't have much brain fog. I don't really have a lot of symptoms at all anymore, other than my lymph nodes being inflamed, and you know, some skin stuff here and there when I get really, really hot. But other than that, you know, I'm pretty healthy. I feel pretty good, and yeah, you know, I just thought I'd kind of share my journey with Lyme disease, and, you know, what I've done to kind of sustain my health. And I'm going to probably continue to do a vlog on, you know, my journey and, you know, my progress and things like that. So if you guys are liking this video, be sure to give me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and let me know if you guys like these types of videos. Type a yes in the comments, and yeah, it's always a pleasure to be heard. It's always a pleasure to share these experiences with you guys, and I look forward to seeing you all next time. As always, hold us.